We're going to start talking SEO now. We're going to get back to here. So before I get into SEO, let's hear some of your definitions of SEO. Is there another bottle of water down there?
Yes, sir.
Throw me one of those, please. So, anybody, what do you think about when you think about SEO?
Content.
Okay.
Make sure you show up on Google first page.
Show up on Google's first page, content.
I mean, I just said that for me, SEO, the only thing it actually cares is bring it to the first page. Rarely people go to the second page.
It's something like 98%.
Yeah.
People never click to anything.
I say like between the first four.
Even the top of the first page.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you have like a 70, 80%.
That's the only thing that actually will bring you SEO. That's it. That's the only thing.
Well, Google has done one thing that I really like. I don't like a lot of things they do, but the one thing lately I like that they do is they've moved the map in such a place and they've shrunk the map down to where if you scroll down to the map, you're already starting to see the organic results under the map. And I like that. Before, with the 7-pack, the map in the 7-pack would fill the whole screen and you never saw the organic results under it. So now that they've done that, your organic placement, if you get higher organic placement without a map listing being there, which you really want that, but if you happen to not have one that fits that profile, then you're going to get some organic juice out of it anyway. So SEO is, in a definitional sense, the art and magic, essentially, the art and science of arranging your content in such a way that Google returns it as being relevant. It has changed massively just since Google became dominant in like 05, 06. It has changed massively, but it's changed even more massively since before that. In the bad old days, in the Wild Wild West days, you could game the system. You remember the old days of sites with every word in the English language in white text on white background.
Yeah.
And you can almost kind of see the words. Well, that was a keyword stuffing play. Okay, that was a common tactic back then. You did that with every website you launched, so that you would return for any keyword that you could search pizza in Chicago, and you would get this guy's site about Sybee. And so Google, what made Google dominant, it's easy to forget this. What made Google dominant is that Google made an algorithm that was effective at returning organic content that was relevant to people's searches. They got what they wanted. That's a big lesson for all of us in business. Do people get what they want from your business? Because they got it from Google, and that's why Google is a multi-billions of dollar company. Okay? So SEO is arranging your content in such a way that it's findable as a relevant return for a keyword search. Okay? It's clear optics, gets customers to see you, but it does not sell. There are tactics you can use within the SEO optimization panoply, if you will, that will sell for you, but SEO itself, in its own nature, does not sell anything for you. Okay? It's going to get people to see your site. Okay? So think about the visual experience you've had in this room while we've came here and everything today. We arrived here, you walked in, what did you experience? That's what I'm talking about. SEO shows people that in your business. If your content stinks, SEO is not going to help you. If your user experience stinks, even though your content's good, SEO won't help you. It actually hurts you because it shows more people that your content stinks. Okay? So it's clear optics, gets customers to see what you have and whatever shape that's in, but it doesn't sell. So SEO now is less complicated than it ever has been, although it still does have lots of moving parts that you need to understand so you don't hurt yourself. There's a lot of ways to hurt yourself in SEO. Probably one of the most important things that you need to hire a consultant for, because if you do it wrong, you're wasting all your time. Speaking of time, we had a brief discussion about this before we started this video, so let's cover something. There's a core concept you need to understand as a business owner, and some of you already know are going to have a hard time with this. I had a hard time with it when I first started, but it's this. You need to think of your time as worth $200 an hour. Your time is worth $200 per hour. Here's why this is important. When you think about something like putting text on images, some of you in this room are going to be really good at that. Really fast, easy. Some of us in this room, like me, it's not fast for me. I'm never going to learn how to do it. Why? Because am I willing to pay someone $200 an hour to learn how to do that? No, I am not. I'm going to go do the things I'm good at, and I'm going to pay somebody $20 an hour, $10 an hour, $15 an hour to go put words on images. You know, I might hire my teenage niece who's a whiz at Photoshop because she's been raised on it from birth, knows it inside and out, okay, because she uses it for cool school projects or whatever. Hire her expertise, again, hiring expertise, okay? So that's the idea that I wanted to get across to you. It's a very important concept in your business. And when you think like this, it makes it very easy to understand what you need to scale off. That was one of the biggest mountains I had to climb, is understanding where do I scale off and hire people? When do I hire and when do I do it myself? Yes?
That's a good thing, but here's the question. Usually, the reason we are here from SCORE is because we are small businesses,
Mhm.
just beginning. Funds are not in abundance for us. Everything.
Sure.
I tackled the same situation when I did my website. I spent full 2 weeks on that.
Mhm.
Very stupid, I have to admit. After
Yeah.
that, learning the thing from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, money-wise, I didn't have the money at that time to hire someone to do that for me.
Sure.
So where you decide where is the balance is okay, where is okay.
So the question generally is, if I can sum it up in a nutshell, when I should hire somebody, if I'm telling myself this, my question is, when should I hire somebody even when I can't afford it? So the idea is it's the model. So you understand that business models you've pursued, some of them you can't fully deploy because you don't have the funds to do it yet, right? It's the same idea. So the idea is, am I good at this? Am I going to hire somebody to do this in the future? Okay, maybe not yet, but in the future, there's going to be a day that I'm going to hire. This is going to go in that bucket. So if you've never used Trello, you should use it. If you don't know what it is, contact me and I'll get you an email introduction for it. Trello, it's essentially a project management software that's online. It's free. It's outstanding. You can make lists. You can make cards. You can pull in collaborators on a single card for the entire project. You can attach workflow and documents to it. It's outstanding. One of the best things I've ever done.
Again?
Trello.
How do you spell that?
If I was going to say hello with a TR on the front instead of an H.
Trello.
Yep, Trello. So it's outstanding for small businesses because it's so functional and versatile. It's incredibly versatile. So what I do is I start building the future. I look out 5 years. How do I want this to work 5 years from now? And start building that. And then you just work backwards. What do I need to put that in place? What do I need to put this in place? Right? So one of the things that the thinking of, and I'm not picking on you when I say this, but it's very common thinking in small business. I can't do that. I don't have the money to do that. I can't do it. Can't think like that because that's a cul-de-sac in your brain. You've told your brain, don't even think about that. Can't do it. The way you need to think of is, what does this look like as a thriving business? If I was going to tell somebody else how to build this business, and what's the vision of it 5 years from now, what would that be? What's ideal? What's the ideal product that I should be selling? Doesn't mean you can sell it right now, but what should you be selling it at? What margins and how much money is that going to make you? Once you start thinking like that, everything changes. Everything changes. It's overnight. I can tell you that by personal experience. Because the probability is, most of us do, we think, I can't do that, I'm not big enough, I'm too small, and you keep being that thing that you told yourself to be, right? But if you say, I'm going to sell, I've looked out at the market and SEO guys, good, top quality SEO guys get $1,000 to $1,500 a month, starting.
How much?
$1,000 to $1,500 a month for SEO, and it's worth every nickel. It's worth every nickel, because this is how you have to think about it. See, and what you're talking about, what your reaction is it's natural, but it's also wrong thinking. Here's why: you're thinking about how much money you're spending on marketing. You know the best way to save money on marketing? Don't do any marketing. That's the best way to save money on marketing. So if your first response is about, I don't want to spend that much money on marketing, you're already in the wrong bucket.
Oh, I wish I could spend it. I just don't have
No,
the
I
money
understand.
now.
But so the thinking you want is this: how much is each sale worth, and how can I raise that margin? Then how can I duplicate that sale the most often and the fastest, right? So if my margin is 20%, that's bad. That's not a sustainable business. We know that because typical margin in any business should be about 35%, 35%. Okay, now there are obviously variations in that, but if you're in any kind of digital space, your margin should be higher than that. Your margin should be really a lot closer to 50%. Anybody in photography, your margin should be around 50% or higher because you don't have employees typically. You don't have overhead typically. All your overhead is in just software and what you buy. And you're able to replicate millions of transactions on that one piece of software buy. That's why a $200 software buy is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So if you're thinking about the cost you're spending on software, you're thinking wrong. You have to change your thinking and look at how many times can I duplicate what this software can do for me, and how can I make that margin as large as possible, because that's what powers my business. Okay, so if I'm looking at my gasoline engine and I'm like, I can't spend $500 putting new spark plugs on my engine, I'm going to keep it in the garage. It's not running, so I can't afford to spend $500. So I'm going to walk to work every day. I'm going to be late. I'm going to lose my job, and now I really can't afford to put $500 in my car. Versus this car gives me all this input and all this increase, right? There's actually a Bible verse. I'm not trying to get preachy or anything, but it's a really great verse. It says, an ox makes the stall dirty. Where an ox is, the stall's dirty. And what it's talking about is poop. I'll just be real about it. Ox is poop in the stall, and we don't like dealing with poop. But much increase comes by the ox. That's a great business concept. So the ox, in this case, is farming, just for those of us who might not be as rural as others. But the ox was used for all their farming, all their carrying duties, carry all their stuff to town and back. It was huge income. One ox, that's why farm animals, that's why they hung horse thieves in the rural West in America in the 1800s, because the horse was such a central piece. Well, it's the same way in your business. You have to figure out what your ox is, and you can't think, I can't afford to feed this ox. No, you can't afford not to feed that ox. So you just have to figure out margin, repetition of sale. Okay. I had a very similar conversation after this, we'll get right back to SEO. I had one of the conversations I had early in my business. I sat down with one of my first large customers. It was the first customer I asked for serious money. He said, I like everything you're saying, but I can't afford it. That's not my budget. I said, well, let's think about it this way. And I want you to think about this today. And you might want to write this down. What is your ideal transaction worth to you? What is that in dollar amounts, retail dollar amounts, revenue, top line revenue? So let's say, in this case, this guy's ideal transaction, the one he was most equipped to sell over and over again, and the one that made his customer the happiest, was $1,500 top line revenue. Every time he sold that, he made $1,500 in total revenue. Then I said, what is your margin on that? Our margin is about 60%. So that means he's making $900 overall net to business, before taxes, before all that other stuff is paid, but overall net to the business after overhead expenses are paid. That's net to his business. So, okay, how many of those transactions are you making every month right now? 7. So 7 times a month he's making that transaction. I said, when you employ this marketing plan that we have, we're going to expose this idea to far more people. Right now, you're getting 0 visits to your website a month, relatively speaking. He had a few, but almost 0. We know in our research that we've done, we can probably get 1,500 visitors per month to your website through the work that we're going to do. If you sell 5% of 1,500, what is that? Anybody?
70.
So, yeah, 75, right?
Okay.
So 75. We're going to bring you 75 buyers. That's a lot of dollars. That's 75,000 minus 7,500, whatever that is, 6,750 or something like that. So $67,000 a month. Now, can you afford to pay $1,500 to get $67,000? Can you afford that? Actually, you want to hit yourself in the head with a tack hammer if you don't do that, right? And he did. He signed immediately. He said, "Oh, that makes perfect sense. Shh, sign, good, done deal." But 90 seconds before, it was a no. And that's what I mean. Your thinking is controlling your business right now. You need to think. How many of you are selling right now? You're actively selling. Okay. Nobody else is. You're selling. Okay. What I mean is, there are transactions happening.
Oh, yeah.
People are buying from you. Okay. So what you need to look at immediately before you even think about any of this stuff, you need to think about anybody know your margin right now? That's bad. If you don't know your margin right now, I see a question.
Your margin, you mean how much more you make and how much you spend?
No, I mean on every transaction, how much of that is profit? There shouldn't be any question.
Well, I do a service, so it's hard to say.
Doesn't matter.
So
Doesn't
it's
matter.
100% in this case.
I mean, it's not 100. It's not 100. You have a set
Yeah, I
overhead.
mean, you have the full. So
I'll give you my example. So I office from home. So my rent, now I can't claim it on taxes, but we're not talking about taxes. We're talking about real life, not government. It's real life. What do I pay every month to be able to transact my business, right?
Yeah.
That's your number. Now then you have physical tools that you actually have to pay for. And you want to kind of plan for a little bit more because things might go wrong or whatever. That's your number. Now, that's the beautiful thing about a virtual business or a home business is that, and any business has this to an extent, but you've got that number doesn't shrink. But the more transactions you have, that's a smaller and smaller percentage of your total income. So let's talk about, for a second, how, what is your typical transaction amount? Anybody?
$90 an hour.
Okay, so the problem with that is, what's typical hours?
2. per client.
2 hours. Okay.
When I say in this case, probably my margin is around 67 to 70%.
Yeah, that's typical good margin for a digital business or any kind of online or home-based business that doesn't involve selling a physical product. Okay, so you're 67%. Go ahead.
See, my service is dependent. I have a different clients, so some of them I get 125 per hour, some 85. So it's based off of a contract.
Sure. But what you want to do is look at your business last year, divide that by your customers, divide that by your hours, and then you know what your average is.
Right.
So then that gives you your planning for the future because what do you want to increase?
More business.
Increase the
Actually,
hours.
huh?
You want to increase the hours.
Well, really, for me, I want to increase the margin. Because if I can increase that margin by 5%, I've essentially created a brand new transaction and customer every time I get 12. Every time I get 12, that means I've produced the revenue of a new customer without having to produce the labor of a new customer.
Gotcha.
Now the balance is, if you keep the extreme of this is I charge them money and I don't deliver any services because that's 100% margin, right? So obviously we're not advocating for that. We're advocating for, can I be leaner? Can I hire a person and double my total number of customers I can serve while my margin increases because they don't make as much money as I do, right? So those are the kinds of questions you start asking yourself. But if you look at it from the supply side of like, oh my gosh, I can't afford to spend another $5 on this thing or another $200 or $9 a month or $10, whatever it is, any place that you're thinking like that, you've got to stop thinking like that. That will not grow your business. That's shrinking thinking. Because that's a shrinking proposition. Because usually what it is you're saying no to something that will make you leaner and more efficient. Okay? So the way you got to think about it is, it takes me $200 to buy this thing that's going to make me more productive. It takes $1,000 for me to get this computer that's going to quit crashing, that's not going to crash as often. Okay? How am I going to get there? What do I have to sell for that? That's the way you want to think. Because that gets the piece. It's like, think about it like buying a new printer that's going to print twice as fast. You plan on it. So like planning for a vacation. You start setting money aside for it. You pick out the thing you want. You know exactly what you want. That's different thinking, see, because you know that's going to make your business grow and more effective. Okay? Anybody have questions about that before we move on? Or contradictions or disagreements? Because it is new thinking, and I understand because I went through the same growth thing, and it was hard. It took me a while to really believe that. What I'm telling you now. I mean, it wasn't easy for me. So anything else before we move on? We'll go back into SEO. Okay. So SEO now is less complicated than it ever has been because Google, and they're moving further than this, there's a really good chance that in the next 10 years, no SEO person will exist.
Really?
Yeah, because Google's algorithm is going to they're using artificial intelligence now to think like humans think. And so they can even analyze bad content and get to understanding whether it's relevant or not. When that happens, content writers are going to go out of business overnight because you won't need our services as much. Now, it's not going to sell in real terms as well, so you're still going to need the really good ones are going to stay in business. The medium and low mid people aren't going to be in business at all because you won't need those people anymore. WordPress. The reason for WordPress is unless you have a highly advanced site, you don't need anything more than WordPress. And WordPress is highly optimized for Google and for SEO. WordPress came about because some people wanted a simple blogging platform that was clear to Google and could be indexed very easily. They inadvertently created a website platform because it's open source. WordPress is open source. So anybody can work on it. You could walk out of here today, go sign up for WordPress developing, and start developing WordPress code for plugins or websites or widgets or whatever. And you could sell it. You could make the project, make the thing and sell it as a product, okay? So that's why it became so popular. And the reason it's so great for business owners now is you literally have millions of people working to make your website more secure and better. There's people working around the clock on it all over the world. That's why it's so great. So after WordPress, it's also WordPress. The third point is WordPress also. That's how important it is, okay? Relevance has replaced tricks. So it used to be people use tricks. We've talked about some of these things today on SEO. So keyword stuffing, all these things used to get you on the first page. Can't do that anymore. Matter of fact, that will actually hurt you now. Link spamming, just tons and tons of bad links. Any links at all got you on the first page. Doesn't work anymore. A relevant link is worth 100,000 irrelevant links. And 100,000 irrelevant links will actually get you sandboxed or taken out of the index. So the metaphor there is to take you off the table and you're in the sandbox, right? Copy has never been more important. Copy is everything. It's not just what you write, it's how it's set up on the page. So the real SEO on page now is not about keyword stuffing, it's about arranging the content well. And there's a whole host of practices there. Again, that's a whole workshop in itself. Optimizing content is a full-time job. And again, that's a 1,000-hour learning curve for anybody who doesn't know how to do it already. So you should definitely think about, if you're writing your own copy, you should definitely, like once a quarter, hire a consultant to come in and look it over, give you some pointers if you don't want to pay somebody to do it. Write it yourself. Be blogging all the time because it's a great exercise. Even if you eventually hire somebody, the act of blogging a lot gives you education that you can share with your copywriter and help them because you begin to understand how things work. Unless you're a great writer and you love to do it, you shouldn't be writing your own copy. And we get back to the $200 an hour thing. Are you going to hire somebody? You're going to pay somebody $200 an hour to write bad copy for you? No. At least I hope not. Right? Nobody's saying
So
yes.
here's a question. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in the technology field, so I need to find someone that knows technology, or that I can give him like, okay, this is my 5 subject. I want like 5 blog posts on these 5 subjects. Write me something on that, right?
Right.
So but they don't exactly know what I want, or.
But that's time. That's why you want to hire a copywriter and find one that you can depend on and work with them solely, because they're going to get better and better and better and better. Yeah, over time. But the real reason is, and this sounds very crass, but it's true, the biggest reason you write blog posts is to index blog posts. So that title tag gets people to your website. That's why you write blog posts. So you have a compelling title tag to get people to your website that you can share on social media.
So then essentially having your blog post read is not so important as having it exist.
Right, because most people aren't going to read it.
Right, and that's very interesting because that's why I've always held off. I'm like, I see all these boring blog posts. I'm thinking I don't have anything groundbreaking to say, so why should I say it?
Here's a question to speak to that. Are there any groundbreaking blog posts?
A couple, I think. I try to find a few.
Yeah.
I find a few that I think.
Well, that's
educate
groundbreaking to you at that moment, but
Yeah.
it's really probably not unique. It's probably even though it's brand new to you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Right.
It's probably
And in fact, I'd say most blog posts that I read aren't promoting somebody's business. They tend to do with maybe science or news or something like that.
Sure.
They're not. But I think what you're saying is that just the fact that it exists on the internet, whether it's read or not, will help.
So the title of that blog post indexed in Google is going to give you a clickable asset that's going to get people to your website. So understanding that people don't read all the blog posts, how should you arrange your blog on your website? What other information should be there? Maybe your top three.
Keywords.
Well, maybe your top three offers around your top three services or products. For you, if you're in IT services, maybe special offer, 3 hours for the price of two, 66 or 33% off, whatever you want to call it for your first engagement, free service call, something on the sidebar that's going to give them the ability to engage or go deeper. Because people will scan the blog post and then go, this is what I was coming for anyway. So I'll tell you kind of as an overview, and you probably know that a lot of us do the same thing. People buy on emotion, they justify with logic, right? So they want the logic to justify their emotional buy. So what you're giving them, and that's why they're going to go to the blog post. So they might scan it. This is why H tags are so important in blog posts. They'll scan it, feel like they got a pretty good representation of it. They're going to feel like they did the research. They really didn't, but they're going to feel like they did. So they're justifying with logic. Then they go ahead and make the purchase. And also, the reason they make that purchase is because you showed them that you're going to put the extra work in. Maybe the other IT guy that they're checking out doesn't. All the qualifications are the same, everything's the same, but he didn't blog. He didn't put a video out. He didn't post on social media. So I feel like you have put more organic work into me doing business with you than the other person did. I'm going with you. I didn't read your blog post, but the fact that you blog convinced me. Okay? So that's a really typical thing that happens quite a bit. You even have people tell you, you can ask them, what did you think of my blog post? Oh, I didn't get to read it, They bought from you, right? So that's something to think about. And again, if you're not embarrassed by your first launch, you launch too late. Launch, do it, write it, blog it, get it out there. Okay?
I started blogging like a month and a half ago.
Huh?
I started blogging like a month and a half ago.
That's good. For you, your buyer is a little bit different.
Yes.
Your buyer a lot of times is going to be highly technical. They're going to be what I call an engineer type. Anybody who's listening to this or in this room that might be an engineer.
So that's the main challenge that I have
Mhm.
because I'm selling engineering
Yeah.
services.
Yeah. Well, it really is who are you buying from? I mean, who's buying from you? Are they engineers?
Yeah, the engineer, and
Okay.
but basically they go for the big companies. They are not looking for the small.
So if you're selling into big companies, so big companies are the buyers.
I mean, the utilities and contractors,
Right,
and all that
right,
stuff.
right.
So they already have their people already being set up. They're going over and over.
What people being set up? I don't understand.
Say, for example, if you go into utility area, so they already have, say, coming to Stanley Consultant, they have already had a contract for 5 years to be there.
Is the same service you're selling?
Yeah, it's same service, engineering service.
Mhm.
So anything comes up in the company, they go to the consultant. That's Stanley Consultant.
So why would they hire you?
That's the thing is, if the reason is they should hire the quality of the work and also
So
pricing.
is your quality increase demonstrable easily?
Yes, it is because I work with the Stanley and their quality is not good because once they have the contract done, locked in,
Okay.
and
So what's the experience of the person who is hired? I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to get into that. We'll call an ex-contractor
right.
that you're competing with. When they have that experience, they hire them, and this bad thing happens. What is that experience like for them?
For that, they just wait for another 5 years. So once they get rid of this guy, they hire the next guy. And mostly in city,
But what are they experiencing that's bad?
experience is the work is not complete. They have to overdo the work,
Rework, yeah.
rework, and they have to use their own personal time to correct it.
Okay.
So they have to use their own engineer to correct that. And
Who's supervising that? Who's really feeling that pain?
the public, or because it's a public money,
No, not inside the business.
Oh, it's
Who inside that business is feeling that pain?
it's managers and the project construction people. They don't get the projects done on time.
Like, so do you hear what you just did? You just wrote a 12-part blog series.
Right.
Those are the things you should be blogging about. Those are the people you're talking to. That's how. So what you're working down to the people who have a problem, and you're finding them, and you're speaking the language in reverse of their problem being solved. Right?
Yeah, I've been on other side too because I was a customer.
Hmm.
I
Then you
dealt
can
with
speak to it even more. But my point is, that's how you understand your market and how you can extrapolate that into blog copy, into your SEO. Tired of having to rework for your engineer contractor? That's great. The 5 reasons the 5 signs that you hired the wrong engineering contractor. That's a really great.
And
Large
he
example.
also may have pointed out, may have discovered that it wasn't necessarily the engineer that was the buyer, that the business manager may be the buyer.
Right. That's what I mean. You find the person who's feeling the pain, because it's easy, especially in engineering. Man, you go down rabbit holes really easy because there's so many technical pieces to it. But you always want to go to who's feeling the pain, because that's who you're selling to. Now they may not be the buyer. It gets complicated when you're in larger businesses,
Right.
because you have multiple parties at the table. But if you speak to pain, that's always going to be the best thing for you in the long term. Even if you're not talking to the person who actually pulls the trigger and buys from you, because a lot of times it's different. But talk to the person who's feeling the pain, because they will then turn into an advocate inside the company for you, and that's going to sell you faster than anything else. When I was doing some sales for a client who sold Microsoft Office products, and she's selling to the HR people. Okay, they're the ones buying the training. They are not the people feeling the pain. So I want to go talk to the admins. They're the people feeling the pain, and the admins managers. They're the people feeling the pain, because they're now going to become an advocate. If I can get them on my side, they're going to go to the HR people and tell them who to hire. So it's a fait accompli. Once I'm on the phone with the HR manager, if the sales done, it's all semantics at that point, logistics, right? So that's a way to think about it. But you're so on the right track of thinking about understanding that it's not a typical sales process. Once you go into corporate or any kind of bureaucracy, the sales process changes. The process changes a lot. Any other questions before we move on?
I'll be maybe later on.
Okay, yeah. Feel free to write them down. I'm available by email, so I'm always reachable. So email marketing is the next one. I really love this picture for so many reasons. Number one, it's a kid with a BlackBerry. That's just funny. My nephew cannot talk yet. He's, I think he turns 2 in September, or he just turned 2 in September. So he's not talking fluently yet. He speaks a little bit. What's fascinating is the preschool that he's in. They teach the kids sign language. Now, yeah, and they do that because kids can process signs faster than they can process language. And it helps them actually develop language faster. It's fascinating. But I love this picture. He uses an iPad all the time. He plays games on iPad all the time.
Yeah.
Before he was 2, he was doing that.
Yeah.
So kids are understanding screens way better, way earlier than we were. Okay.
Heard people talk about kids who look at a book and they start
trying
to
scroll
scroll
it.
pages on the
Yeah.
book of the magazine. Yeah.
Which is disturbing. Email marketing is always going to be effective. Okay, it just always is. People thought that social media would kill email marketing, but it doesn't, because email marketing is siloed. Nobody else is talking to them when you're talking to them, and that's why it's always going to be valuable. There's always going to be some version of it out there. Okay, so it's long cycle. It's completely dependent on your investment in copy. So if you're not putting a lot of money into copy, or you're not able to develop some time on copy, then don't think about email marketing. You're going to have to go completely offer-based if you're not a good writer. And most people aren't, so don't feel bad if you're not. Okay? So email marketing, be very informative. Be very, try to give away as much as you can in your email marketing. Give people a reason to get in there and read. Develop loyal readers if you can invest a lot in copy and sales offers. Okay? Go ahead.
See, I tried this. I just got this is a company that sells these email address and contact points to the person, like the people who were very into it buying this product. And I use that, but I didn't get any success. I mean, I'm basically, maybe because I'm writing that, I give my.
How many people did you email to?
I use every day about 10 to 20 people. So this is 1,000 emails. So I usually my target is about 50 people at least in a month.
Okay, so what program did you use to email?
It's basically just my personal email.
Okay. So was it like Gmail or something like that?
Yeah, it's GoDaddy.com email. So you can
Okay.
use
Okay.
that domain.
But is it at your domain?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
that's good. That's good. So one of the issues with that is that probably most of those went to spam, because once you reach a certain amount of emails that you're sending out, spam filters get triggered. That's why you want to use something like Mailchimp or Constant Contact. I recommend Mailchimp because they have tools and tactics in place and algorithms and things that get you around their spam filters and get you a higher deliverability rate. Your title, your subject line is everything in email. In email marketing, your platform and your subject line are the two most important things. You live and die by the open and click-through rate. Your relevance and the compelling nature of your title is going to be whether or not people open it, and then the nature of your copy is going to be whether or not they go through it enough to click on what you want them to click on. If I were you, I'd be telling these stories. So episode, one of the things I use is episode, and I'll enter some random number just to be funny. Episode 3971 in Don't Write Bad Copy. You know, a horror story, something like that. We'll go over some Twitter stuff in a minute. I'll show you some.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
So when you're blogging or sending an email, is it okay to like copy, mention another post you saw, or just give a quote from another website? I mean, put a credit that like, hey, this came from this website. That's the link to be on the first side.
Actually, that's a great tactic. So you're asking if can I in a blog or an email mention someone else? Yes, you can. So the arc on that, the kind of track line on it, the graph line is a balance between how relevant that is, because you understand once you direct people to that, the likelihood they're coming back to you is very low.
Yeah.
Then is that a competitor? So you want to use an informational piece that tends not to compete with you, because that doesn't help you. What I recommend is writing my own blog post that reviews what this other person said. Okay, so I give an overview of what this other person said, and it's a holistic approach. So that should be part of your post. Should a certain amount of your posts should be reviews of other content. A certain amount should be purely informational from your perspective. A certain amount should talk about the experience in buying from you and what you really love to solve. So telling your personal story connected with your service or product delivery. And then a certain amount you want to be more sales driven. Okay, that's small, less than a fifth. I would say less than 20%, less than 1 out of 5 should sell. So you can't think about, again, there's no magic pill. It's got to be a holistic, integrated approach. Okay, so email is the same way. Some stuff you can read is anything on writing good titles, good subject lines for your email. Titles in blog posts and subject lines in email are going to be very analogous. They're going to run kind of concurrent. So think about blog post and email titles. And you can use your blogs and your email as an email. Hey, my latest blog post, check it out, that kind of thing. Relevance is everything. It's everything. Investigate. Find out how your people think, what they think about, how they buy, the whole 9 yards. You have to think about all that when you're writing your copy. Okay? Platforms, it's a really important thing to think about. I don't think anybody in this room needs any more than MailChimp or Constant Contact, and you're going to be less than $50 a month at your first level. I think MailChimp is like $10 a month.
MailChimp is free.
It's free.
And you don't get the trackability that you need at free. You really need
You don't get what?
trackability.
Oh.
You get some, but in my
Yeah.
opinion, it's not enough.
You can definitely get some. I don't.
Well, I know, but think about it like this: how many people are you emailing?
300.
At 300, you're at 3 cents a piece. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Is 3% of 300 $10?
Yeah.
That might be 30.
1,000
Even at
cents.
30 cents a piece, I mean, what's one transaction worth to you?
Well, more than that, yes.
There you go. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If I get more trackability, if I get more measurability, more automation for the $10, and I know you do because I know MailChimp.
What
So-
are they measuring?
Open rate, click-through rate,
The free one does that too.
Yeah, it does.
to a point. There are some limits on it, and that's where you want to investigate. Where are the limits, and is that worth? Again, it's $10 a month. It's two Starbucks trips. You know.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that are $2 a month that adds up.
Yeah, but if you have an email list of 300 people, that's gold. Those are people dedicated to you that only you are talking to. That's hard to do in today's marketing. It's hard to do. There's almost nothing else that does it.
What's the magic number that we, let's say in MailChimp that you transition between free start tracking, like over 50 people, you go.
No, it's much higher than that. I think is it 1,000?
So you get to
No,
go.
I'm not talking about like, so they say up to 2,000 it's free. Let's say you said that we have 300 people, it's worth going to the premium account, okay? Right now in my mailing list, I have like less than 50.
Mhm.
For me, like tracking these 50 is still worth going to the paying $10 a month, or say when I start getting more than 100 people in my contact list, then I want to start tracking it deeper.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably at 50. I would probably concentrate on getting more people in there. But it really depends on your buyer. So if I had 50 people that are buying like this people buy, yeah, I might even go Infusionsoft like $200 a month on something like that, because Infusionsoft will reach out and wrap in your website pages into your email stream. So you can have a 12-part email series, and you can actually use your website for that with Infusionsoft. But these buyers are much bigger buyers. One buyer for him could be. I mean, that's revenue for 5 years, right?
Oh, yeah,
Could be.
if one project
Right,
is 130,000.
There you go. It's a much different animal. It really depends on. Again, you should know your numbers. What's a single transaction worth to you? And it's never a single transaction, because what's the probability of that person being a repeat buyer? So if I buy wedding pictures for you, and then I'm not a destination wedding, I didn't fly in from out of town to have it here. I'm an Austin resident, Austin wedding. I can buy an engagement, wedding, kid photos, family photos down the road, event shoots. That single customer is revenue for years. So that's the way you got to think about it. I mean, I know there's a lot of tools. Well, let's list a few. Let's take a second. You said there's a lot for $10 a month. Let's talk about that. What else? What would other options be at $10 a month?
Oh my gosh, well, so you have MailChimp, you have your website fee, you have whatever.
What is your website fee?
$30 a month.
Who are you paying $30 a month?
Shopify.
Oh, you have e-commerce?
Mhm.
How many products do you sell? Can you sell me another one of these?
I launched in November. I sell 4 products a month right now.
4 different individual products or 4 transactions?
4 transactions.
Okay, how many products do you sell?
1 per transaction.
No, I mean, how many products do you have to sell?
Oh, on my website, like 10.
I mean, for me, if I've got 10 products, why am I not doing WordPress and doing 10 pages with a PayPal buy button on them? Then I'm not paying. Why do I need a cart?
Because for me, WordPress, I'd have to bring somebody in to help me with it. I've done WordPress before, and I just can't get it to where I want it to.
So you're able to set up Shopify with no outside help?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's worth it. Okay, so go past that, $30 a month.
I just did a sweepstakes for a month that was $30 to that platform to do it for me.
A what now? A sweepstakes?
Sweepstakes, like
What is that?
win a yoga bag, and so I collected about 300 emails from that.
For $30?
Mhm.
That's outstanding. You should do that every month.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Um,
That's great. That's 10 cents on a person.
I
10 cents
mean,
an email.
yeah, it was really good. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of course, I'll
Yeah,
there's
like
all
you-
these little things that I
Yeah,
pay a
services, like,
subscription or service.
Sometimes the QuickBooks Online, depending on if you buy
Yeah.
it or not, domain, mail services, website services, small marketing, business card magnets, you have it sometimes.
Well, you have to look at what delivers what.
Exactly.
Like what she just said, that's a gold mine you never turn away from. That becomes an integral part of everything I'm doing. If I can get 300 email lists of people that double opted in, because I guarantee you they did. If they double opted in and signed up on an email list, I'm doing that every month. There's no way. And then what's really critical about that is you need the buyer experience of I've given you my email list. What's that experience like now? What kind of emails am I getting? First thing I want to do is I want to give them something for free. I want to make them my friend for life. Okay? I want to give them. Do you do yoga or do you sell yoga products?
I mean, yeah, it's practice yoga.
You practice yoga as well? Okay. So are the people that you're getting, are they local?
No, not
Okay.
necessarily, not that at all.
Okay, so here's what I would do. Find out what the hot demos are. I do this for a few months and then start figuring out every time a demo represents itself. So if like North Dallas represented itself, if like you got 300 emails and 20% of those all came from the North Dallas area, I would get on the phone with yoga practitioners and go, you want to leave? I'll either sell you a lead for $30, or you can give them a discounted. We'll partner up, and I'll give you leads for that area. And for 6 months, I'll give you free leads, every lead that comes in from North Dallas, but you got to give them a half off. You're essentially a Groupon. They're not paying any fees for Groupon at that point. You need to empower. I mean, you need to make this like a dynamic, electric experience. They are so happy they signed up on this email list. Okay, so if you look at what Amazon does, I can't wait to pay my Prime membership fee. Why?
You use so much for that.
What all do I get?
2-day shipping, free videos, free music, free storage for photos. Great customer service, of course, comes with that.
Yeah.
And probably other stuff that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
Yes.
The value, and they keep packing more value into it.
Yeah.
So how can you do that? That's the question. How much value can you pack in? Email. Look, if you don't do that, then your email is going to become one more that goes in the unimportant folder. But if you do, when they sign up for it, you need to have something in there that says, "Hey, thanks for signing up. Be sure to make us your important. Put us on your important folder. And here's why: you're going to get ABC every month. We give away yoga. You should have a yoga treatment giveaway every month. Partner up with these people in the other towns and all that stuff. Nobody's going to turn down leads, but you got to make it qualitative. That they have to qualify, and you have to be able to do these things. If you're not going to do that, then I'm not going to give you the leads. Or you can just pay me for them outright, and that's another revenue source for you. But then that makes your email more valuable. More likely they're going to click on it. Cool special offer. You should tell stories, tell testimonial stories in your emails. People love stories of people that had a great experience that are just like me, because that social value chain. Social value chain is other people like me had the problem I had. They solved it by going to Bill and buying Bill service. I can get the same experience that this other guy got if I buy from Bill. That's social value chain. Okay.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Should I put testimonials on my website or just put a link to, let's say, I have a Yelp page? Okay.
No.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Well, who else is on Yelp?
No, everybody else.
No, specifically. Who
I
else is
my
on?
competition.
And where does Yelp put your competition? Right
Next
under
to
your
you.
testimonials.
Yeah.
Right under your testimonials. So
Yeah.
no. Yelp is there on your website. It should be a badge on your website, because this is what they call a social proof badge. And so what that does for people, the fact that it's there, even I'm never going to click on it because I don't go to Yelp. Yelp trends female. I don't know if you know this or not, but Yelp trends female. But the fact that it's there makes me feel better about dealing with you. It's the reason you put credit card icons on your website in your footer, because that makes me feel better about dealing with you. I feel that I'm going to get a better experience. I feel safer because those are there. That's just proven. I'm not making that up. Studies have proven that. You can research that. It's all over the web. So, but yeah, you have to be careful. Just think about the experience. Go click through the experience yourself, and what experience are you having. Again, don't think about, I don't want to spend time or money on this because I can't afford to do that. Think about what's the ideal experience for you and your customer, right? So your testimonials, even pulled from Yelp, what you love about Yelp and Google reviews is it gives you material you can use on your website. You just pull those and sprinkle them throughout your website.
Oh, can you do that? I didn't know.
It's your review. It's your customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can present it, the whole testimonial on my website?
Yeah, it's your customer. It's yours. It's for your business. Yeah. Yeah, they don't own that.
Yeah. No, that also, okay.
And what you put it on your website and you have it as a link to Yelp, or
No.
Okay.
You have a badge in your footer of your website. This is another nice thing about WordPress. WordPress comes in with a footer, a full functioning footer. And it's not automatic. You have to configure it, but it's there in every WordPress site. You can have a full functioning footer. But yeah, so have the badge there, but don't have Yelp on every single page. Unless you're a restaurant or a salon or somebody like that. Those are very mobile, they trend female. They're going to buy on the road, those kind of things. Yoga may trend this way, but I don't think yoga products would necessarily. Maybe, I don't know. Probably an experience thing, just testing over time. But yeah, so let's get through the next.
Let me just, before you go on,
No
I
problem.
just want to say that next Thursday, our topic is email automation.
Good.
We'll have a consultant, an independent consultant who works with Constant Contact, who will be here, but she will talk about the topic in in a generic sense. So
Nice. All right. So optimize for mobile. Oh my gosh. I've written a series, several blog posts about this, and I've been posting on it a lot about social media. And then we talked about it in my last presentation at my own networking group. And that is that mobile is taking over far faster than we even anticipated that it would. They're overall, over 50% of all traffic is mobile now. We know that. But there are hidden numbers inside of that are staggering. Okay? So for certain verticals that are female, a lot of times your traffic is almost 100% mobile.
Verticals.
Yeah. So vertical is like a salon. That's a vertical. So hairdresser, hair treatments, that's a vertical. It's a business vertical. Computers is a vertical. IT service, that's a vertical. A vertical is just a business type. So what do you do? What kind of work do you do?
I'm a clown, kids entertainment.
Okay, so kids entertainment, party entertainment, that's a vertical. That's what the word verticals are. So within each vertical, online behavior is different because the age and the gender of the person and their role in their life at the time that they're interacting with you changes. Okay, or it's specific to the vertical. That's a better way to say it. So mobile is changing all that because of the smaller screen and the mobility of mobile. I mean, it sounds redundant, but it's true. So if you have somebody that your typical buyer is mobile when they're buying from you, or they're female and a mom, whether they're a stay-at-home mom or they're a full-time job mom, the likelihood that they're going to interact with you on mobile is through the roof. The reason is very simple, because they're on the road when they're looking at you. Not literally on the road, but maybe they're at their kids' soccer practice. Maybe they're on the way to get their kids. They shouldn't be looking at it, but they're looking at it online while they're driving. Maybe they drive a cab to work every day. All these things, and they're not looking on their home, at their work computer because they can't. There's firewalls and things. So they're investigating on their lunch break, So all these things trend mobile. So even though we say over half of all search is mobile.
or they could be in their home working on.
Sure, but actually, the tablets are not a big piece of this. It's all smartphone. So you wouldn't believe it. Shocked me. If you look at iPads sales and how they can't sell new iPads very well, people aren't replacing their tablets because they found that they're not using them as much. And the reason is smartphone screens are so big now that the experience is good enough that they're not going to carry the extra screen around, right? So smartphones, everything should be optimized for smartphones. So within your vertical, behavior is going to be different. Now, engineer sales is probably going to trend more desktop. But guess what? You better still have something that scales to mobile, because Google will punish you for not being optimized for mobile. Your mobile results will disappear. You may be top page 1 for your keywords, but when you go to mobile, you won't have any if it's not optimized for mobile. Google sandboxes your mobile. They'll still let you have your desktop returns, but they will not let you have your mobile returns. They'll disappear. Sometimes they won't even return your page. That's how bad it is. So it's a huge deal. When I say it's one of these things you can't overemphasize. Okay, optimize for mobile or die. I'll show it again because I like that photo.
I want to say something about it. It's true.
Yeah.
The last Black Friday, 2015, statistic came that between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning, 82% of USA traffic to website went from mobile. 82%. Wow. All Black Friday traffic came from mobile. Mm-hmm. And I saw that, and I was like,
it hides, because that's a macro number. That's an aggregate number. Yeah. That means in certain sections, like rural, believe it or not, this is a crazy part of mobile.
Just mobile.
Right. Why?
They don't have internet connections over there. Everybody uses like small.
They don't
have internet connections over there. They use like hotspots or just the phones to get everything they want.
Well, there's another reason. They can get a better phone than their desktop is. And they're not going to pay $1,000 for the desktop, but they can go re-up on a phone for free or $100, and they get a phone that's faster and better quality, and their kids can play games on it.
So,
yeah.
Would that affect your texts then too? Like, for instance, I'm getting more and more inquiries via email than via phone these days.
You are.
And I like phone because I can get tone of voice and I can be more persuasive.
Yeah.
So for my business is in two parts. There's the birthdays and then there's the corporate and the schools and stuff like that. For the personal hires, I have a form letter that says what I offer, what I charge, and everything. It just occurred to me now, if people read it on the computer screen, there's room to read more words. Would an implication of mobile being more predominant now mean that you should parse your words more carefully and have less text because text is kind of harder to read? Pictures are
Generally,
easy on mobile.
you need 1,000 words on every page for it to rank. So if this is a page you want to rank.
No, I mean my answers. When people
No, I know. But I'm just telling you generally answer your question because it applies to every page on your website,
Okay.
not just this one. So for a page to rank, you need 1,000 words on it. You need a few images. You need some qualifying data. You need outgoing links to qualified sources. Wikipedia is a great one. Google loves Wikipedia. So I would link to Wikipedia articles. But remember, once they leave the website, they're probably not coming back. Go ahead.
But this isn't a web. This is more of an email thing.
I understand.
Yeah.
You're talking about a specific thing. I'm
Yeah.
telling you the answer to your question doesn't just apply to that specific thing.
Okay.
So I'm getting to what you're talking about.
Okay.
So you need those things to rank. But 1,000 words, that's a lot of words.
Yeah.
So you better have images and videos in there that people can consume. A great solution for you that I would suggest is to have a video people can link to and say you can either read this or you can watch a video that has all of it in there. Okay? And I would still have the form on that page also. But I would just spend some time shooting some video of yourself talking through that form.
So even my email response to them should be 1,000 words.
No, but I would index that page. I would have that page indexing. I don't know why you wouldn't want that.
I'm confused.
Well, here's what I'm saying. If I emailed you,
Mhm.
I'm going to get back an email that says, "Hey, I'm Kyle. I do this and this. This is how I do it. I've got two resources for you.
Mhm.
One is a video that talks through the form that I'm about to give you. If you rather watch it than read it, and then I have a form that is available for you to read as well. I would have that then in the email, but I would also have the links up there before the email. Does that make sense? So in the email is going to look like this. Here's the things I'm saying. I've got two options for you. Video, form. Both of those are links that go to my website because I really want them to go to my website because they're more likely to buy more stuff on my website than in this email.
Usually they've gotten me from my website.
I understand.
So I send them back to the website.
There are links to go to the website, and then you still have more copy in the email. Does that make sense?
Sort of, but
They're the same thing as on email that's on the website. Because different people are different. Some people are going to want to consume it in the email. Some people are going to want to consume it on your website. I'm going to want them to go to my website, go back to the site because I want them to sign up for special offers and things like that.
Okay.
But you're offering both options in the
if
email.
they forward your email to someone else, doesn't come from your website. If you can see your email, then you can link to your website.
Yeah, I guess if somebody said I saw your website and I'm interested in hiring you,
Yeah.
and they want some specifics, and then I send them back to my website.
Well, remember, I said several times, I'm giving you both options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I have
not
that.
sending you to the website. I'm giving you options.
Okay, so in other words, I'll answer the question and give them the choice. You can either read it in the text I've sent you and answer your email, or you can click a link and read it on the website.
Well,
Or
you're
click a link and
You're
watch the video.
concentrating on the website. What I'm saying is I've got a link here that gives you the option to watch it in video or read it.
Right.
I've also combined some special offers that I want to offer to you that are here on this page. I've put some resources together for you on this page that are going to tell you everything you need to know. Plus, we're going to have some special offers for you. They change every month, so I've put it on my website. I want to find a way to get them back to my website. Don't get too tied up in, oh no, I don't want to do that because of this. Really, what you want to think about is what is the ideal experience for you and your client, and how can I get them to that? Okay, so an email, eventually, always I want to take them back to the website because that's where all my offers are. That's where all my product information is. That's where all my blog posts are. Eventually I want to take them back to the website. That's where they're going to have the best user experience because they're going to be able to find the most of what they want to buy. People typically buy these things from me. This is how they buy it. Here's some testimonials. Here's some links. That's generally every email that you're ever going to send. Here's some cool information. Here's some industry jargon, some latest news in the industry. Yeah. Let's put a bow on that, or put a pin in that. And if you got more questions later, feel free to write them down.
It seems like it's kind of taking a long way around the
Right.
bottom.
Again, that's becoming a thing for you, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But understand that your ideal user experience for you and your client is what you're after. That may not be what you understand right now. It may be.
Yeah.
It may be that it's not better to do that. You're not going to know that till you start testing it. I've never been in the kids entertainment party business. I have written copy for it, but I've never been in it. So I don't know what the actual numbers are, but nobody that hasn't tested it does know it.
Right.
So you're not going to know it till you test it. Yeah. Test just links with no information in the email. Test only information in the email with no links. Test only video in the email. Test only copy. Test all those things. That's what a good trackability function in your email is for. And that's why paying $10 a month is so worth it. If it gives you more functionality. Think about the functionality, don't think about the dollars. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Anybody else
I
before
have
we
a
move on?
question about that 1,000 words.
Yeah.
That's a lot of copy that people are probably not going to read. So, like, home pages don't have, that I've seen, don't have 1,000 words on it.
Yeah, that's a general statement that is hard to discuss because we have to. It's a better thing to give me 10 examples, and then let's look at how are those ranking on the first page of Google. How are those functioning? Because Google wants 1,000 words, and sites with 1,000 words rank better. It's just,
But you said pages are not ranked unless they have 1,000 words on them.
No, I said
Are
you
they
need
ranked
1,000
better?
to rank. That just is a general statement saying that they're going to rank better.
And if you have a product page, you have a product page with like 3 pictures of a certain person, maybe 100-word description of that person. Different. I mean, how much more information can you put on that product page of?
Well, one tactic you can use, which is pretty common, is to go product, product, product. Within that product, you have a 100-word description, like you said. Think about the description. How does that load? So if it loads and then it does 50 words here, and then it has a cutoff point, but those words are still loading on that page to the search engine, like 300 more words in there. Yeah,
Is
they're
that
not
what,
gonna,
does, when it says continue reading,
Mhm.
is that the words that you continue to, does that count?
Sometimes it does. That's what you got to find out. It depends on your website, how your people set it up, how it was done in your template or whatever. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. There's a super easy way to do this. Let me see. I know how to do it. There are word count extensions in Chrome. So if you just go to Chrome extensions, search word count. How do I test a page for word count? Then you can go to your page with your product descriptions and see how many words that it's telling you. Because what it's doing, it's using the same algorithmic setup as Google does to count how many words are on your page, right? So then you can tell, I've only got 300 words displaying here, but it's seeing 1,000. Then you know that those are counting like you just asked. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So then another tactic is product, 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 or product, 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 description, description, description. Sometimes you're going to have descriptions outside the image and inside the image. So you can have 150 inside the image and another 150 here. And you can rewrite a real easy thing to do to test for duplicate content, because you don't want it if you can avoid it, is just copy and paste a chunk of it, put it in quotes in Google search bar, and then you can see how many other pages are returning for that content. Because when you put it in quotes, that's exactly, you're telling Google, I want exactly this phrase, right? So that's an easy duplicate content test. There's free duplicate content checkers out there. You just write it in Google. Google will find some for you. A lot of it is, it's all testing. You got to find out what's effective for you, okay? So then you've got product, 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 description, description, description. But then under here, you can even put a line in the page, put 500 more words down here. Yeah, nobody's ever going to read it, probably, unless they do. But then it's there. But it's just the truth. Now, what will happen sometimes is somebody, like one person a year, is going to put what's called a long tail keyword in that you would never think of. Nobody sane would ever think of this keyword, because it'll be like purple kitchen cabinets that are installed on a Thursday when it's raining. It's something crazy like that for whatever reason people put in, but because your page has more words than others do, if Google can't find that, they're going to find the next relevant thing. And because other people are taking the shortcut, or they're using duplicate content, which happens a lot, in product sales on e-commerce because people just run out of words. If you write original content, you're going to be more relevant because you're not duplicate. Very quickly, I'll tell you this, that you hear a lot of talk about duplicate content and a punishment for it. There actually is no punishment for duplicate content. What happens is it's impossible for a search engine to qualify one piece over another if the content is duplicate. So it goes to the back of the line. Okay, that's all that happens, but it effectively is a punishment. Okay, so that's a way to get more words on the page. Okay, so don't think about it as if everybody's going to see all that. And another thing is, do you want this to actually index? If you don't care about it indexing, for instance, if you have a big channel on social media, you don't have to worry about indexing. So 1,000 words doesn't matter. 1,000 words only matters if you want it to index. Did you
I
have a
think I
question?
wanted to index.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
If you had a huge Instagram following, you don't need to worry about indexing.
Yeah.
If you have 1,000, 2,000, or 200,000 followers on Twitter, you don't need to worry about indexing.
Yeah.
But what happens is because you have so many visitors come, you become more relevant to Google because more people are searching your site. Okay. All right. Check your site on mobile all the time, every day. Then go check it again. How big is your conversion text? That goes to the conversation we were just having. So the conversion text, bold, italics, don't use italics a lot. Use italics very sparingly. Use bolds, use H tags. No sliders, do not use sliders.
What is slider?
Slider is that rotating image on your homepage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't use those. They don't convert very well anymore. People tend to skip them just psychologically. They're finding that they just don't convert very well. Plus, on a mobile, they get truncated anyway. So a lot of times in mobile templates, especially with WordPress collapses the slider. So all that work you do on all those images is wasted. So it's much better to have 3 to 5 scaled images set up for mobile. You can go to this website, WilliamFrenchTX.com. Go to that on your mobile, on your phone. It'll show you what I'm talking about.
Should you also then for mobile?
Actually, do this instead. Go to Google, search kitchen remodeling flower mound, and then scroll down until you might have to go to the second page.
Kitchen remodeling?
Pardon? Kitchen
remodeling?
remodeling, yes.
Flower?
Flower mound, 2 words.
Mound?
Flower like a mound of flowers, but it's flower mound.
To make something more readable for mobile, then should you avoid fonts with like fancy serifs and stuff? And just use like Times New
Well,
Roman and the basic.
No, not necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of great fonts out there that look great,
Mhm.
but what you want to avoid is anything that is like Gothic or I don't mean copperplate Gothic, but I mean it's true Gothic.
Yeah.
Italic font, fancy font, anything. If you can't look at it and read it, and you can with another font, choose out of the font. Arial is wonderful. Tahoma is
Yeah,
wonderful.
that was good too.
Yeah.
Helvetica is a good font?
What?
Helvetica? Helvetica.
Oh yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah.
Font.
So did you find William French?
No, I typed kitchen remodeling flower mound, Texas, and I found village design and remodeling.
Are you on the first page?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you haven't found William French yet, scroll to the second page. Go to the second page. Should be on the second page. Is it not there?
Yeah.
So click that one, and then the point of this. First of all, you've done me a little bit of a favor. Google likes it. They see your site as more valuable if they somebody searches for the keyword, goes down and clicks your site. So if you get people occasionally to do that, that gives you a little juice. It's not huge, but it's a little bit. But I'll be able to show you what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
Are you on that site?
No.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't recognize those people at all.
So,
Yeah, that's the LinkedIn though. That's William French. That's funny. Did you search for William French?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just if you're going to go directly to it and not going to do the Google thing, then just go WilliamFrenchTX.com.
Oh, I mean, this is
Yeah, that's it. But the point is, our strategy behind this, our thinking behind it is, we want big pictures that give you a really great visual experience. We want you to be able to, because what you're buying from us is the visual experience of your own house, right?
Yeah.
So I want as big a picture as I can get, best color resolution I can get, and then each picture has the name of the service that you would be interested in. Then you would click on that, and that goes to a page about that thing. Go
You
ahead.
mentioned the resolution.
Mhm.
I think I'm getting wrong this whole time. Every picture I've got on my webpage, no matter what resolution it started in, before I put it on the webpage, I converted it to 72 pixels per inch because my understanding is that's what computers display. But but you're saying maybe I should maybe do the 180 or something like that to make it higher.
It doesn't matter
resolution?
as much on mobile, and here's why. All those get shrunk down.
That's what I
The
thought. Okay.
actual physical presence of the picture. Those only really matter if you're selling high res. If high res is part of your service.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
keeping it 72 DPI
Yeah.
is fine. Okay.
Yeah, because high res people are going to look at you on a big monitor anyway.
Yeah.
And that picture's going to better be really big.
Yeah.
But big pictures take longer to load, so that's going to affect your
That
load
was
time,
another
which will
reason,
affect your
yeah.
index. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So simple, clear, easy to read. You can see these pictures. Let me just ask you this, Cole. Don't worry about hurting my feelings. I want as brutal feedback as I can get. Tell me your impression of that page. And kind of click around on it a little bit and see what the experience is like for you.
The font on the top.
William French. You're doing in the logo?
No, so it's, yeah, actually below the logo, like the flower mount, kitchen and bath remodeling, granite countertop.
Mhm.
It's very thin, especially so it's like a light.
Let me see.
I'm not gonna see.
Yeah.
Comes-
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to read, especially because it's very narrow font. So, and especially,
Here's the thing about that.
I mean, I'm just saying, for example.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, I totally agree with you. I don't like it. But here's the problem. That's the title of the page.
Yeah.
So it's my H1 tag. I have to have it in the page. And so I'm really limited because I have to have it there.
No, you can just do it like a bold font. I mean, just,
Well, I know, but then it's going to let 2 whole lines.
it's okay. Now you have a 1.5 line.
Maybe.
The pictures are well
Yeah,
displayed.
they're nice.
The headers and the pictures are good, and the pictures are good pictures. And I like the fact that you go through
Yes.
3 pictures
French
before you read the
DX.
text, because you're getting an idea of what it is,
Right.
and then if you like that, you see the text.
But also the other thing behind that is that each one of those are clickable.
Ah,
Maybe we should have
What's
them there
the
click
thing
for
with
more
the
info.
green background with some of the logos here? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, careful.
I don't know what that was.
So,
Those are just trust tags. They're really not to go anywhere or do anything. That just tells you if you're investigating remodeling, you know what all that stuff is. And
Oh,
that
it's
makes
like
you feel better.
builder
about us.
certified or
It's kind of like that. Yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
I like it. It's nice. It's very nice.
We're supposed to have another tag right there.
I have an ad blocker on my browser.
Yeah, what?
Ad blocker.
It's not an ad. It's just another image that's supposed to be there. I'm gonna talk to my guy and get that up there. So yeah. So
Very nice.
click on one of the pictures, please. Tell me what you think about that.
Supposed to come up bigger?
What is this?
One of the pictures.
Click on that.
Oh, you're on the
Left hand
page.
with a smartphone.
Okay, yeah, so that's opening the image in a different page with no
The
information.
Wi-Fi here is
Well, I need
super
to
slow.
I need to change that. What's a different experience?
This one is what you meant to click on one of those pictures.
So how do you feel about the fact that that opens a new tab?
That's
On
Yes,
that
I
volume.
mean,
fine.
I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi here that's super slow or.
Copy is very neat. I like the way it's
Laid out and
easy,
everything.
it's easy to read.
Yeah.
Very well presented. Pictures are nice. Colorful.
Okay.
You used what you said was it's awful lot of text.
Yeah. Well, that's an authority page, and the reason we have that is
Oh, nice.
that page has 4,000 words on it. But a page with 4,000 words is going to rank number 1 faster than all the other surrounding pages. So it's got like, I think, 30 images on it, and it's got all that. It's got a ton of links going out to valuable content. So yeah.
So if you have your website
Uh-huh.
has like 4 or 5 pages on it,
Uh-huh.
is it is it crucial that each page is 1,000 words or just one, like the
Yeah,
main
with that
page?
few with that few pages, you better have a lot of text. You really need about 10 pages.
And you load all your
Absolutely.
photos with text?
Hmm?
Do you load all your photos with
You know, we're experimenting with that. He just pointed that out. He went to one of the pages and he clicked on the image, and that loads to a page with just the image. That just loads a version of that
So
image.
I think one of the images, I go to the text thing, I don't know why, it just scroll, like it just gets stuck at the scroll. See the scroll?
Yeah, you don't have a free. It's probably your scroll settings.
Yeah.
So your scroll don't have it doesn't free scroll,
Okay.
and that's something to think about. Maybe other people don't have that. What page did you go to?
One of the pictures.
Yeah, but which one?
Bedroom remodel.
Bathroom model. Okay. Okay.
I mean, I had another web pages, just right, that's all.
Does it bother you that it opens a brand new tab? So you're not able to
For
click
me,
back.
actually, it's in the same. I mean, yeah, so the old tab just goes. To
It doesn't open a new window. It opens a new tab.
Yeah.
But you can't go back to the home page because of the way that's set up. Does
Um,
that bother you? Like if you wanted to go back?
Um,
I like going back.
Yeah.
again, so on my browser, it just opens the main page, and the home page just goes to the background. Okay, I can go back to the background.
Okay. Okay.
So again, Android devices they have different browsers, so everybody
Yeah,
shows
yeah,
it differently.
yeah.
Like Apple, for example, we open a new tab.
Uh,
Something Chrome, for example, we only present with one page in the front. Now it just goes to the background.
Yeah.
But you can just press the tab button,
Yeah.
and it should just suddenly like show you like all the options.
Yeah, that's what I use. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Just depending on the browser, also that's something to be aware.
so in the header, tell me your name. I'm sorry,
Jennifer.
Jennifer. So Jennifer, in the header, there should be a home icon,
Yeah.
but you're not going to feel the.
I wouldn't look for it.
So back is more important. Okay. Okay. That's not, well, I've been testing that with some people to find out what they think about it.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
clicked on testimonials,
Mm-hmm.
and where I see you have the testimonial with the project and the price range, et cetera,
Uh-huh.
I expected to see the before and the after of the
Yeah.
remodel.
Yeah, I
think
don't
that
have
would be
control
a
over
very
that,
powerful-
and I know.
Yeah.
I cannot get them to take before pictures to save my life. They don't want to. They don't like. It's not that they physically don't want to do it. It's that it's not part of the process, and so they get the job started and they're already almost in
Even
the
if-
install before they
even-
even think about taking a picture.
Even if it's the work in process.
I
I
know,
remember when
I
I
know.
had a remodeling job done in my house, and I didn't think to do the before, but I took the god awful picture of the during
Yes.
and then the final. And
Right.
It's wonderful.
Right. And that's the story people want. And I've been preaching this for a year, and I just took over all their marketing in October. So all this copy is all since October.
Hire me to go take the picture.
It's in
and I'll
Dallas.
take it.
You wanna
I'll go to Dallas and take the picture.
Okay, why do that? They have a photographer, but it's that's what. So this is a really great maybe object lesson for everybody. So one of their big assets was Houzz. Are you familiar with Houzz? Houzz
TV
is
shows?
no. It's a website.
Oh.
So Houzz has revolutionized remodeling marketing because Houzz gives contractors gorgeous layout, beautiful interface, and they don't have to pay a nickel. Okay. And so it gives customers a really great user experience, but Houzz gets the ad revenue and any other revenue. Like if you hire a job out, they're going to pay for that. Whatever the revenue model is, they're trading. It's kind of the same as Google's idea. They're giving all this stuff away in trade for being the place that everybody comes to. So because they did a good job with Houzz and they've uploaded a lot of projects to it, they had over 300 images on Houzz. So what's the play? What do we do? What's the best way to make use of our asset there?
Okay.
Hmm? Well, it's Houzz also, so it has a layout of all the stuff on the site. So what should I do with that? Share it on social media?
Yeah, probably some of it, not all of it. Yeah.
I would share all of it. I would syndicate and have that going out every single day on the social media channels. Find alliance partners who do stuff different than us, but sell to the same people and share their stuff and ours, and hopefully incentivize them to share our stuff on their channels. That's another one. But one of the kind of ninja tricks that we did that's easy to do, any of you that know how to use Photoshop can do this. I take all those images and I download them, I optimize the images. There's a whole class for that, but can't go into all that today. But I want to optimize it so they index better. But then on the face of the image, I'm going to put our watermark logo. So I'm going to logo all those images. Now I'm going to throw all those up to Picasa and Flickr because they're open source sites, essentially. They're open use sites. Now anybody that uses it, our brand's going out. But a secondary trick is, this is especially important for photographers, is I'm going to throw them out there with the qualifier on there. If you would like to use any of these images without our watermark, contact us, and I'll tell you how you can do it for free. And the way they can do it for free is give me a link off that page. That gives me qualified links because nobody's going to use that image on a page that is not relevant to remodeling. So they're going to put it on a page that's relevant to remodeling. Even if it's bad, it's still about remodeling. So they do it, they give us a link, and that gives us more link juice. Okay? That's free. I mean, it's free. You're getting free marketing there.
So then with the links, is it also a good idea then on your webpage to maybe even have a separate page of links to non-competitors but related?
Yeah, you want to set it up right. You don't want to just have a page full of links. You want to have some text on each one. The way I do it is I call it a valuable resource, helpful resource page.
So maybe like what I would do is like, say if there's some daycare centers that use me a lot, link say,
I would the way I would do that is my favorite clients.
Yeah,
Some of my favorite clients. But resources for you would be like, what else do people need at a party that they host?
oh, then a cake,
Party rentals, cake,
jump houses,
photographers.
yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. Here's some of my favorite people. And then as you go through time, you actually want to have a page of alliance partners. These are my favorite people in Austin. Now that's them. Now you can have informational, like national level blog posts about these subjects are great. That's a helpful resource page.
Yeah.
So how to safely use a bounce house, how to make sure that the people, because kids get hurt in those things all the time.
Or I've got a friend who's just got a really good blog on the history of clowns.
That's great.
ClownLA.net, link to that.
Yeah. Helpful resources are always good. Yeah. So let's put a bow on this and get to our next topic. Anybody else have a question before we move on? We're talking about mobile here and how your site works on mobile. I know we have to get, where are we out of time?
Got 5 minutes. 5 to 1.
5 to 1, okay. So let's go to the next. Paid search. We'll move through this pretty quickly. Probably none of you should be doing paid search. If you're doing it, probably stop. Because your website has to be optimized really well. You've got a list of about 50 things you need to be doing right, and you probably don't know how to do any of them. No offense, but it's just true. You need to hire a consultant before you start paid search because this is where you can waste the most money. I know a guy who spent $36,000 and never got a lead off of it.
A year?
Yeah, a mechanic. It didn't get a lead off of it. Some of that's because he didn't measure, so he doesn't really know if he got a lead. But the real reason is because he didn't set his budget up right. He's spending $3,000 a month, and he didn't set his budget up right, so it gets wasted. Because you're telling Google where to put those ads, whether you know it or not. So if you don't know how to tell them where to put it, it's not their fault that you didn't go learn. Go spend $1,000 on a consultant to help you set it up, and it makes your entire budget more effective. The guy that I use the reason I don't do paid search anymore is because he's so good at it. And he will actually, if you're spending $3,000 a month, he will, in that budget, manage it and make it work better for you. You're not spending any more money, but your budget is actually producing more for you. He's really good. That's why I don't do paid search anymore. Social media can be a giant black hole, time waste, if you don't use it right. It really should follow. Social follows your content. Your content does not follow social. So what that means is get your content in shape first, then share it. You should have a general strategy behind the message you want to put out on social media. Okay? What do you want to say to your clients? What do you want to say to your prospects? What do you want them to perceive about your business? This all goes into what you talk about on social. What kind of person are you and do you want to portray on social media? Okay? What are your core values? I've developed for myself, and I'm starting to use it for my clients, a core conversation audit. And it's about how you actively speak your core values into your business conversations. And what it ends up doing, I did a walk through it yesterday with a consulting client. And what it actually does is as you speak these things, you're actually building like a 3D model of the perfect business transaction with the perfect client. Because as you speak a core value, for instance, one of my core values is I'm always going to attempt to add more value to any transaction that I'm taking out. This is a great example. I'm not being paid for this. So I'm investing multiple hours of my time, not just today and the time to build it, the time that I've spent building my knowledge base for this, and I'm giving this away for free because I like adding more value than I'm taking out. That's one of my core values, okay? I only engage in transactions that I know I'm a good fit for. I will not take a transaction that I'm not a good fit for. That sets me apart from other people who are like, buy from me, buy my stuff. You should buy my stuff. Why? Because I want you to buy it. I need the money. That's the way most companies are selling, and most individuals are selling. Okay? Most small businesses sell that way. So when I separate myself from that, I'm automatically worth more. Just by doing that, I'm worth more money. Okay? So as you walk through these statements and you begin to state them confidently through your transaction, they begin to get out there on social media and in your blogs and in all your web copy, and they show up in your testimonials because you talked about it to the customer before they ever did business with you. So it comes back out of them in the testimonial. There's this 3D model being built online, and people experience that before they ever buy from you. Okay? So you have to think about that message that you want to put out on social media. Images are very important on social media. So anyway, people that are around images, you have an invaluable asset. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and Snapchat. These are the big players. Periscope is coming online fast. Again, what we talked about with streaming earlier. You should
heard about Periscope until now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's one of those things that's it kind of flies under the radar a little bit, but millions and millions of people are using it. It's a streaming app, and it's effective. Snapchat is rising super fast. It was just valued at $15 billion, and it has never made a cent of revenue. It's a free app that people use, but because so many people are using it, the valuation is very high. So this is about understanding your demo, the perfect buyer of your product, and how they consume media. That's how you know which one of these you should be concentrating on, or which 2 or 3. For me, I'll tell you what I do. I post to Instagram that posts through to Twitter. Twitter posts to Facebook. So everything I put on Instagram shows up on Twitter and Facebook. My Twitter posts to Facebook. Sometimes I tweak that though. I'll go erase the post from Facebook if I'm posting a lot. Because on Twitter, sometimes you go on a blast where you might post every 20 minutes. Well, you don't want all that going on Facebook because that wears people out. So you have to be careful about how you do it. Pinterest is a board. It's like having a bulletin board on here that I'm posting things to.
Is Pinterest all pictures?
It is with some text. There's a whole optimization strategy for it, but it is highly picture oriented. So it can, again, be a giant black hole time waste. So you have to be careful. This is why syndication is so important, because you can take advantage of time that you're doing other things that don't require a huge amount of brain power, and you can put out your content for all week in an hour. I can post everything to 25 different social media platforms. I can schedule it for the entire week in less than an hour. And that's posting all day. It's
So
fast.
like on Monday, I can set something up where it says that Tuesday at noon this posts, and
If I wanted to, if I know that the majority of if I've tested my market, which I should be doing, then I know that my market is on Twitter the most often between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. Then I might once a month do a special offer and blitz where every 10 minutes I'm putting out an offer. Hey, don't miss our offer. This is great. Past user experience. How much of a discount it is. All these different things I'm going to post about this all hour. This hour is a 1 hour special, that kind of thing. So I can schedule that out. I can sit and do that for the entire year. And every month I'm going to have this cash register that rings because I scheduled that out. It's a powerful tool, but you have to be careful about how it, because once you get into the channel, you spend a lot of time on it. Or it can be a black hole time waste or a raging success. What's the difference? Hyper-focused on message. We talked about some of this before. Mixed with community-driven posts. That's important. When I set up a Twitter account, the first thing I do for a customer is I want to go follow every real estate agent in that demo. Then I'm going to follow every restaurant in that demo. Then I'm going to go follow all the newscasters in that demo. Now, what I've done is I have gotten together with real estate agents who know everybody. And I'm going to repost all their listings because they'll like that. But nobody does that for them. I'm going to repost all their listings. I'm going to ask them questions about restaurants and schools and plays and movies and high school teams, because high school football is big in Texas. So if it's in Texas, I'm going to follow these things. Then I'm going to mix that in with my offers and my information. Okay, you should be about 3 to 5 to 1. So 3 or 5, between 3 and 5 to 1 on quality information versus an ask. I don't want to be high ask ratio. I want low ask ratio. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. So there's a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk, which lays all this out very clearly. It's a really good book. And it's about giving more than you're asking for. Okay, I'm going to give you good quality information, but make sure it's about what they're interested in. Okay, so know your value proposition cold. Cold. You should know it hands down. Jennifer, what's your value proposition?
My bags.
There should have been an answer. That's the point. So it can be hard sometimes, especially with physical products. So sometimes you want an overarching value proposition for your company. Quality products at great prices. Ethical,
I have a lot
green.
of value proposition. That's what's hard. It's hard for me to focus it down to one thing.
Sure. Well, what you want to do in your case is go, what are the most valuable products with the best margin that people like the most? What are the hot sellers? And concentrate only on those. And then kind of reverse extrapolate your value proposition so in yoga, of course, it's a natural field. So green, natural, eco-friendly, fair trade, these are all going to be things that tick boxes for people who buy in a yoga demo. So talk about those things on your Twitter channel. Promote, like all the big thinkers, the thought leaders in these spaces, promote their stuff, follow them, retweet them. Especially you, because you're national, this is a gold mine for you. Go follow all those influencers, put them on a Twitter list every day, open that list. Have you used Twitter like this?
Yeah, I do social media for my other job, so.
Okay, so you know how Twitter lists work.
Yeah.
Great. Actually, I'll open this up in a second. That'll be the last thing I do. Don't let me forget Twitter list. Okay, so let's get through the rest of this. Ask them what matters. Ask your people. Talk to your people. Ask them what matters to them. Talk to your past clients. That's a gold mine of a direct arrow to point to how to get your next client. Okay? Talk about those answers. So ask the question. One of the things I'm doing this year is I'm doing an interview blog post. So do an interview blog post with your people and go, what was it like? What was the experience like? And then write a blog post about it. Know your audience, ask them questions, talk about the answers, talk about what they talk about. You must know Facebook ads, treat Facebook like a passive channel. And what I mean by that is if you don't understand how to use Facebook ads really well and use boosted posts really well, this is something you should be paying a consultant to do, to at least tell you, to inform you before you start paying the money for it. Then you need to treat Facebook like a passive channel that you're not using actively. Just post your stuff there, but don't expect anything out of it. Don't try to get anything out of it. Just post stuff there just so you can post regularly. Okay. Consistency is one of the biggest factors in social media. Be consistent. Okay. Twitter is a lot of noise, man. It's a lot of noise. You're gonna have to be really intentional to get anything out of Twitter. Instagram is very effective, but in a certain way. For you guys that sell engineering into companies, Instagram is probably not going to help you that much. Actually, social is probably not going to help you that much because a lot of those people are not allowed to get on social. Now, what you can do is use it. Think about them after they get off work if they're going to do any research into your demo. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Still worth having because you get SEO signals from it. SEO, Google values the social signals from things. So share your content on those channels, but don't spend a lot of time on it. Okay. Snapchat's coming. Periscope is coming. You should at least be aware of those. And that's the last one. You like that?
Yeah.
It's actually off-center. It should have been centered, so boo. All right, let's do this. Let's do a little live action here. I'm going to grab a chair so I don't stay there all these.
Sure.
All right, so what I'm about to load up for you here is I'm going to show you how we can give you a little bit of inside information here because this is my actual Twitter account. And let's see, can I get... That's close enough. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to go to my list. So I'm going to go to my list. Thank you very much. I didn't realize we were locked. Sorry about that. I wonder why everybody kept having a hard time with the doorknob. All right, so I'm going to go to my list. I've opened up my list. Now, influencers right here. Now, I've made this private. The reason I've made this private is I don't want two things. I don't want my influencers to constantly be getting, because everybody batters them with adding them to the list. This is starting to happen to me, and I only have like I think 1,700 followers, something like that. And it's already starting to happen to me. People add me to lists because they think that I'm going to see value in that and I'm going to follow them. But they don't realize that everybody does it. So that's another thing to think about in your marketing is what is everybody saying to this prospect? And you don't want to say that thing. Do it differently. So these are my influencers. So this is their clout score. That means that if you're at 80, you have a really great clout score. So see this title? This is what I was talking about making a list of influencers. These people probably have somebody else posting this stuff for them. And they also are paying those people a lot of money to understand how to write titles and questions and blog posts and email. This is a great email subject line. Does your website have enough white space? What does that make you want to do?
Read it.
Find out, right? Does it have enough? Does it have enough is a natural question that creates interest and a little bit of fear. How to use social media to become a thought leader. See, and so I can go in just in this one list. I can sit here and like these different posts, and I'm giving these guys juice, and they're all influencers. They all have big, big audiences. So then if I retweet, okay, there we go. It's curated content. I'm going to retweet. I can retweet it without a quote, or I can quote it. I want to quote it because I'm going to add me a little bit of hashtag juice. They've already got curated content and blogging for hashtags. I'm going to go. I like asking a question. Because it's engaging. Sometimes people answer. Most of the time they don't. But the one time they do is more engagement than I had before, right? Okay. One answer from one of these people is worth 100,000 tweets to other people because of their influence. And for people like you who have a national audience, it's invaluable. It's invaluable. So you want to get with yoga people. If you can get one to review any of your stuff, that's huge.
Yeah, I've been contacting a lot of them.
That's good. That's great. So then you want to, I would offer them a joint venture. I don't know if you've done that already, but I would offer them a joint venture. Don't say review my stuff and I'll give you money. What you want to say is review it. I'd like to get your input on it. If you're willing and you like it, then what I'd like to do is do like an interview blog post with you, and then we'll share that on both of our channels, and then I'll give you a piece of anything they'll make off of it. That's a version of affiliate marketing. And a lot of those people, that's how they make the majority of their money, is they're getting paid off of stuff they promote. So that's an option to probably explode your sales.
Yeah.
So, but the point here, the biggest point here is to understand how to use a list. See, every single one of these people are on my list. There are no posts from anybody else. So this is a great way to limit the noise of Twitter and to make it much more effective for you. Okay. See this image? This is a great example of what you should be doing. Nice, big, clear image, clear words. See, none of this is in italics. And, it's very clear what this is about,
What is this cloud score you sent?
Clout,
Oh,
Klout is a company that measures, they aggregate a lot of factors, and they measure your social media impact. And it's overall, not just on Twitter. So they're combining all your profiles that you input into Clout, and then they give you a score on it.
So 1 to 0, 1 to 100.
And it's not, it's not perfect, and it's not even crazy relevant necessarily,
Yeah.
but it gives me an overall understanding of the people that I'm talking to. Yeah. All right. Anybody have any questions? We talked about email marketing, paid search, social media, SEO. We didn't really talk about blogging. We talked about it in specific, but overall, you should be blogging at least a couple times a month. Put a blog
Couple
out
times a
there.
month?
At least.
Maybe like once a week.
Twice a week is best,
Okay.
but once a week at least. I mean, the lowest. Yeah.
Really, I try to do twice a month. I mean, I write technical blogs, but
How long are your blogs typically?
I try to keep it in one page.
But I mean, how many words? Okay.
It's the 1,000-word rule
You
apply
can look at the website.
The longer the
I don't
better.
know.
Because they're going to index better.
Yeah.
And blog is an aggregate play. So over time, your blog is going to give you this content that all stacks up together to yield this profile to Google. That's why keywords are so huge. Keyword data, long tail keywords,
And then-
consistency.
You set up the blog as one page of your website.
Yeah, if you have a WordPress site, it's automatic. You just click that you want the blog to display on the homepage.
Oh, good. Mine just got converted to WordPress.
Good, that's great.
Would you say with email marketing, is direct mail marketing relevant anymore?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good, because that's
It's
kind of,
actually email has made direct mail more relevant because you don't have as much junk mail anymore. So now what's there, you're more likely to see it.
good, because I'm just going to send out 500. I thought about wasting my time.
Copy, image is everything. I would get somebody to look at it before you send it out.
Yeah.
Because that's an easy way to waste all that time and money you've put into it.
So you're saying about the email, so I have to go, what you say, Chin?
MailChimp.
MailChimp.
Mhm.
Even though I have a domain name and all this stuff through my email, so just use them.
Oh yeah, because your native email does not have the ability to get around their spam filters.
Okay.
But the next thing you should look at is all your subject lines. Enter all your subject lines into a Google sheet, like a spreadsheet, and then you can tweak them over time. And as you open them, like what you can do is you can use an email subject line, and then in the next field in the Google sheet, you can put the percent of your open rate percentage. And then over time, you can measure that and go, well, all these had the best. And so then you can junk all the rest and then use those and expand off of those.
Okay. Can you use the Google to search for that?
No. I'm saying a Google sheet because I use Google Docs a lot, but a spreadsheet is what you're talking about. Yeah.
And see, the thing is, I get this email links from. Actually, I have to. Gonna buy each year. I have that prescription. I have to buy.
Okay.
It's $300, so I'm gonna.
Well, you need to make sure they're good email addresses because what some companies do because they know they get sold to, they actually set up a fake person. Let's call her Rhonda, and you're emailing Rhonda at company.com, and Rhonda doesn't even exist. And they do that because they know that's the one that the aggregators are going to pick up and put into a list and sell it. So one thing I'd be doing, if you're buying this every year and you're not getting any opens, I'd go back to the company and go, hey, look, I'm not getting any opens on this. You either need to reduce your price or I'm going to go to somebody else. But you need to measure why you're not getting the opens first.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. You probably end up spending some.
Well, if you're not using one of these
Yeah.
systems, you don't have the statistic that tells you whether they opened it or not.
Okay.
Even on the free version of
MailChimp.
MailChimp, I
Yeah.
know whether they opened it or not.
That's right.
And I know the percentage of people that opened it. So
And you can put an app on your phone, and
Oh,
I'll show you. I just sent it out of this
Just
morning.
before we leave, I want a couple of things. I want to say thank you to Kyle for
Oh,
Yeah.
sure,
being
absolutely.
here and
Thank
doing
you.
such a great job. Next week, we're going to talk about email marketing and email automation. And then in 2 weeks, Kyle's coming back and I'll let him tell you what he's going to talk about in 2
So
weeks.
this is like-
I think we're actually still kind of in flux on that because Celia emailed me some. Next time we might actually do like a live breakdown of somebody who's getting help from you guys.
Thought we were going to bring it together so that it
Well,
gets
there's a
to the
tool
marketing.
list. There's a tool list that I've done for you guys, and there's also just more specifics on this, getting more deeper on this. But what I'm excited about, and I hope other people will like it too, is she sent me something that somebody was wanting help on. She said, tell me what they should be doing. And I said, well, let's bring it in the room. We'll do it live in front of people because it's going to be a live breakdown. And we're actually going to do it. I'm going to take over the account and do it. So it'll be a social
That'll be
thing.
exciting.
Yeah.
So it'll be at least part of the presentation probably next time if we can get together on it because it's only 2 weeks.
Good.
But at least sometime it'll be in the future.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
I enjoyed it very much. Let me know. I think you're giving them testimonials and stuff, but I'll probably send out a request too because I'd like to get feedback if anything, if you liked it, what you liked about it, all that good stuff.
Yeah. This is my